Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the previous video, I showed you how to choose the right STM32 Discovery board and also how to install TouchGFX. Today in this video, we are going to take the next step. I'll give you an overview of how TouchGFX works, what you will see when you open it, and how you can use the example projects to speed up your development. So let's start it. The version I'm using here is TouchGFX Designer 4.26. You might be using the same version or a slightly newer one, but don't worry, the interface and workflow are basically the same. When you open TouchGFX Designer, you will land on the home page. In the center, you will see a list of your recent projects. On the left side, you have a few main sections. The Home tab, the page that we are on now. Create tab, this is where you will start a new project from scratch. Examples, a very useful collection of ready-made example projects. Demos, more complete demonstration application, often showing advanced UI concepts. The example tab is especially helpful. TouchGFX provides a lot of examples, animations, keyboards, a scroll, menus, and more. For example, if your application needs an on-screen keyboard, instead of creating it from zero, you can open an example that already includes the keyboard. You can study how it's made and then copy only the parts you need into your own project. This approach saves a lot of time and helps you learn the framework more efficiently. On the top left of the screen, you can select your board. For example, I'm using the STM32U5G9J Discovery kit, so I will choose that. Now, one thing to keep in mind, some examples may be using different display resolution. For example, your board might be 800 by 480, but some example may be 480 by 272. This doesn't mean that the example won't work. It just means that the layout won't fully match your display area and you may need to adjust the screen design later, but it's totally fine for learning. The Demos tab is also worth checking out. These projects are often more polished and complicated and then can really show you what is possible with TouchGFX, especially animations and UI transitions. Again, when you choose your board, the list will automatically filter to show only compatible demos. There is also a Docs tab that links to the TouchGFX documentation and the TouchGFX Academy tutorials. When you are learning new widgets or interactions, it is always a good idea to refer to the official documentation. It is clear, well structured, and very helpful. Okay, let's select one of the example project now. Ideally, I choose the one that already matches my board screen resolution. I choose my board, pick the example I want, give the project a name, choose the folder, and click create. Now we are inside TouchGFX Designer environment. If you press F4 or this button, the tool will generate the code ready for your IDE. If you press the play button in the middle or F5, you can run the UI in simulation on your PC. And if you press F6 or the button on the right, the project will be compiled and flashed directly on your board. Let's have a look at the layout. On the left side, we have the screen panel. Well, your application can have multiple screens. For example, a home screen, a setting screen, or other kinds of screens. In the subgroup of the screen, we have a list of widgets that you are using in the screen, like buttons, image, text, graphs, and whatever you have on the screen. We will go through these widgets individually in later videos. When you select a widget on the canvas, the Properties panel on the right allows you to modify things like size, text, color, alignment, fonts, and whatever is related to this widget. Next to it, the Interaction panel allows you to define how a widget and a screen respond to user action. For example, when a button is clicked, what will happen next? Below the canvas, you also find the image section. This is where all your project's images are stored. You can also choose whether the image is stored in internal flash or external flash. This will affect the performance and smoothness of your GUI in your project. Under the text section, you can define the fonts and typographics that you are using in your project. Later in other videos, I will explain this part more for you. In the next video, we will create our first GUI project from scratch, and I will explain the architect behind TouchGFX, how the UI layers communicate, and how your embedded logic fits in. So if you are following the series, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.